Hello boys, this is teacher Alejandro Valdez and welcome back to another Science 5th grade lesson. Hello boys, good to see you again. As you can see behind me, I'm at the bottom of the ocean because today we are going to keep talking about invertebrates. But, hey, what are you looking at? But, this time we are going to talk about invertebrates that live in the ocean, most of them. So pay attention to this class and enjoy the lesson. Before to go in deep with this online lesson, we are going to watch the videos that some classmates sent me during this week. Pay attention. Mr. Pedro Gana from 5th grade A sent me this question.
What living things have more energy, plants or animals?
Dear Pedro, sorry to tell you that there is no difference between the quantity of energy that some living things have. The difference is the form that they obtain the energy. Because as we learned, plants need energy or take out the energy from the sunlight, and humans take out the energy from the nutrients in the food. Mr. Diego Peñafiel from 5th grade B has another question. Go ahead.
Hi, Mr. Alejandro. What is the difference with animals and human cells?
Dear Diego, the main difference between animal cells and human cells is the size and the composition of the genome. Maybe you are wondering what a genome is. A genome is a specific code that gives to the body the information for development and functioning of any human being or any life. Now let's see what we are going to learn today. In this lesson, we are going to keep talking about invertebrates, and our learning objective is to describe the observable characteristics of each group of invertebrates. In this opportunity, we will focus on invertebrates that live, most of them, in the ocean. So, pay attention to this presentation. In order to have a clear presentation, the characteristics of these invertebrates will be presented into 5 parts. Echinoderms that are represented by animals like starfish, sea urchins, and sea cucumbers. Cnidarians, represented by jellyfish, corals, and sea anemones. Poriferans, represented by sponges. Mollusks, represented by snails, slugs, clams, and mussels. And we are going to finish this presentation talking about worms. You need to know that echinoderms are found in all parts of the ocean and use a wide range of methods to obtain food. Let's check the first group corresponding to echinoderms. Echinoderms are animals like starfish, sea urchins, sea cucumbers. They live in the ocean, in the sea, and the structure, according to their structure, I have to say that they are made up of 5 equal segments with same set of organs. They have a spine-like structure in the skin, and they have 2 feet that allow them to move and feed. Here we have some examples of them. Sea urchins don't have arms. The starfish can have 5 or more several arms. Sea cucumbers live at the bottom of the sea. If you pay attention to the picture of the back of the starfish, you are going to see some 2 feet that allow them to move and feed. Cnidarians such as jellyfish, corals, and sea anemones have a single opening, which is a mouth, and an exit port for waste products. Cnidarians, like jellyfish, corals, and sea anemones, live in the sea. Sea anemones usually live in one place their entire life. According to the body structure, jellyfish, corals, and sea anemones have a soft body. Invertebrates in this group are carnivorous. They have a mouth surrounded by tentacles. They use these tentacles to sting and paralyze the organism they catch for food. The tentacles also protect them from other animals. In the picture, you can see a sea anemone which has an opening. Sponges belong to a group of invertebrates known as poriferates. They are the most primitive animals in the sea. In addition, sponges are host to communities of other animals such as shrimp and fish. Also, sponges have holes in their bodies which filter out food from water. Sponges are examples of poriferans. They live in the sea, and adult sponges attach to a place rich in food to grow. According to the body structure, a sponge takes in water through the holes on its body. It then filters out food from the water and sends the water out of its body. Here we have a real sponge in the sea. Even though they look like plants, they are animals. Mollusks form a group of animals whose members seem to possess no similarities to each other besides the possession of a shell, which has been lost in the octopus and the squid. Now it's time to talk about mollusks, represented by snails, slugs, clams, and mussels. According to the habitat, they are found in land and water. Some of them live in salt water and some live in fresh water. According to the body structure, snails, slugs, clams, and mussels have a soft body and a foot that they use to help them move. Some of these animals have tentacles on their heads. These tentacles help them to sense their environment. Snails, clams, and mussels have shells. Snails have big spiral shells that they use for protection. Clams and mussels are animals with two shells which they close for protection. They open up their shells during feeding. As you see in the pictures, these animals are examples of mollusks. The snail's parts are the tentacles, the shell, and the foot that allow it to move. The cone-shelled snail is a predator which impales his prey with a retractable tongue. This releases a venom that paralyzes his victims and can be fatal to humans. The giant clam is the world's largest mollusk. Worms differ from most other invertebrates because they lack of a true exoskeleton. They don't have a hard outer covering to protect them. Instead, they have developed fluid-filled bodies that are rigid. Worms can be found on land and in water. According to the body structure, all worms have a body that can be divided into halves, with each part being a mirror image of the other. Many worms have sense organs that can feel the changes in their environment. Some worms have body parts which can sense light. Worms may have a smooth body or a segmented body. During this lesson, we learned the habitat and the structure of some invertebrates such as starfish, jellyfish, sponges, snails, and worms. And we also learned how they are classified in groups like echinoderms, cnidarians, poriferans, mollusks, and worms. Bien muchachos, en esta clase del día de hoy seguimos hablando acerca de los invertebrados, tema que empezamos la semana anterior. Pero en esta clase aprendimos algunas clasificaciones de ellas. Por ejemplo, los equinodermos representados por animales como la estrella de mar, los nidarios representados por animales como las medusas, los poríferos que son las esponjas de mar, los moluscos que están representados por animales como los caracoles de tierra y de mar, y también las almejas, las machas y todos esos animales que realmente tienen concha. También hablamos acerca de los gusanos, que no entran dentro de ninguna de las clasificaciones mencionadas anteriormente, porque son un poco atípicos dentro del mundo de los invertebrados. Aprendimos acerca del hábitat de cada uno de ellos y cómo están estructurados en cuanto a su forma, a su cuerpo. Espero que hayan disfrutado la lección, ¿ok? No olvides que si tienes alguna pregunta con respecto a lo visto hoy día, te animo a que te grabes haciendo una pregunta y tal como tus compañeros aparecieron al principio del video, tú también puedes tener la oportunidad de aparecer. Así es que me gustaría que cooperaras con estos videos y la mejor forma es grabándote haciendo una pregunta. It's time to say goodbye. Thank you for watching this video and don't forget to complete the worksheet given in the Drive folder. Okay? See you next week and bye. Thank you for watching me. Don't forget the likes. Bye.